Whenever you're ready.
Good evening. I call to order the meeting of Design Review Board. Today's date is November 20th, 2023. Staff want to call to order, Matt?
So Inskeep excused Martin.
Here.
Hoff excused Rashid.
Here.
Salzer excused Tibbet.
Here?
Tilka.
Here.
Stiniker excused and Anderson.
Okay, there is consideration of October's meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve? Second?
Second.
Okay,
All in favor?
all in favor? Yes.
Yes.
Wonderful. No old business, one new business, case DR 23-21, request for design review, C-V Village of East Davenport zoning district, site improvements at 1117 Mound Street, Streamline Architects, petitioner on behalf of Kelsey Siebert.
Okay, so this is a familiar project down in the village of East Davenport. So the business is Kelso's Corner Bar. So it's highlighted in yellow there between 11th and 12th Street, just north of the alley. And then it also consists of the vacant space just to the north of the building. So I'm just going to summarize the project history. So this project first came before the Design Review Board in July of 2022. It originally was for an outdoor patio and bar design in that vacant green space. And then there have been several different iterations since that point. So the following month, they came to revise some of the building materials. So they did an asphalt shingle roof and then replaced the wood siding and modified the color of the original building. Then in February of this year, there were some exterior alterations to the site plan, moving the pergola and trellis structure up against the north facade of the building, and then creating an exterior staircase. Most recently, this project came before the board in May of this year to address the outdoor patio area, which was a reduction in that first design, which had more buildings and structures. So this design came forward with a pad for a food truck, an outdoor gazebo, an outdoor seating area in that space, and then they also had a 6-foot black ornamental fence with greenery surrounding it. So the board's decision at that May meeting was to approve the project as presented, with the exception of the ivy and greenery on the fence. So at that time, the board directed the applicant to explore other landscaping options or to submit additional details on the type of ivy or method of growth, because at that time it was going to be live vegetation that was growing on the fence. So since that time, last month, work started on the property that was being done without building permits. And then the proposed work was different from those previous iterations that were approved by the board. So city staff issued a stop work order, notified the applicant to submit revised plans to the Design Review Board, and then to submit applicable building permits. So pending today's action, work has stopped and depending further review from this board. So the revised application that has been submitted alters the outdoor patio area further. So just starting with the front along Mound Street. So they're still proposing a black ornamental fence along Mound Street. It's set back from the existing patio fence, and that's because the property line actually starts about 10 feet from the sidewalk, so they're keeping that on private property. They're showing a landscaping bed there too along Mound Street, which would be fairly consistent with what's there currently at the edge of that patio area. They've relocated the parking pad for the food truck along the north property line, so that driveway would be shifted a bit north. They've already have started installing retaining wall block along Mound Street, the north lot line, and then the east property line. So that work has stopped for the time being. They're proposing doing artificial turf in the center. And then they've started construction on the 2 outdoor fire pits, which you could see at each end of the patio area. So here's another view of the outdoor area. They are proposing 2 different canvas shades. to provide relief from the sun out there. And they've submitted additional details on that design. They have come back with a new privacy fence that would be about 6 feet tall and have fake ivory in between it to shield from the neighbors. And then, so this would be the south facade of the building. The previous iteration of this project had a usable second floor space that was accessed from an outdoor staircase. So that concept has since been abandoned, but that door has been constructed up there. So currently it's a door that's inaccessible. Once when they've created the outdoor seating area, it triggered building code that requires additional restrooms that can't be accommodated within the footprint of the building. So they are proposing 2 exterior restrooms off the south facade, as shown there. So this would be the view from Mound Street. So those restrooms would project just below that door and provide exterior restroom access, which gets them to meet their building code requirements in terms of occupancy and having enough restrooms for patrons. This is the retaining wall block that's been constructed on site. It's a concrete block that has a textured relief to it. Here are examples of the proposed canvas shade sails. So you may have seen these at various parks out and about. So they would have 2 of these. They come in a variety of different color choices to provide relief during the summer months. And then this is the proposed privacy fence. This is from the product catalog. So it's essentially a chain link fence where you weave PVC greenery pipe between each of the wires to provide that privacy from adjacent neighbors. So the Village of East Davenport design standards for when it comes to fences recommends wrought iron, steel, or aluminum fencing. So staff feel that the wire fence may detract from the historic ambiance of the village. And in fact, the fence structure itself probably appears more of like a chain link fence, which staff would typically recommend against that. The applicant did show a photo as an example. This is Half Nelson, their patio area. They have a wood fence with lattice and then greenery shields to kind of prevent visibility. So they did offer that as a potential example should the design review board show preference for one fence versus the other. And then this is just the Google Street View. So this is the subject area that we're talking about for today's project, would be that green outdoor area. This was taken over the summer before work started. So with that, city staff is recommending the case be approved in accordance with the submitted work write-up and materials, with the exception of the proposed privacy fence along those north and east lot lines. So staff is recommending that the board identify a different fence or wall design that's sympathetic to the historic ambiance of the village area.
I have a question. Because I wasn't here for that May meeting, so I need some education. Why weren't we okay with the live ivy? What was wrong with it?
At the time, there wasn't enough information on the method of growth
Okay.
and the type of plant material.
Yeah, and I think, sorry, I think at the time too, if I'm remembering, like they were originally talking like they'd be in pots and then it would expand, and then we're talking, okay, well, it's gonna die in the winter, and what does that look like, and things like that. So
Okay.
having something that's artificial but looks pretty
Okay.
natural.
But was the fence type different? The fence type was the same, the chain link, but,
No, it was a wrought iron.
oh,
So the
okay.
previous one was a wrought iron, kind of like what you see in
Like
this
that.
photo, but it would have like a mesh applied to it that would allow plants to grow onto it.
Yeah.
So are they, do you guys have anything to add to it, I guess?
If the,
And if, sorry, Ed, if you could stand in
oh,
front.
sorry.
Thanks.
Speaking with the owner, if we're not gonna go with this fake hedge fence or whatever you wanna call it, she's more than happy, we'll just do ornamental iron around the whole project. That matches the front, so that works.
Without any,
Without anything on it, just do an ornamental iron fence around the whole thing, just to keep consistency.
Was there issue if the planting method was different, like it's put in the ground, or was it just because the ivy was coming out of a pot? That was the problem originally. I'm just curious to know.
I think it was multiple, right? I think it was that on the pot, how, how quickly can it grow to be covering the fence? But then again, when it dies in the winter, what does that look like?
Okay.
Some of those pieces. I don't think that, based on some of the area around it, I think it's cement on both sides. And so I don't think they can plant in the ground in a lot of those
Oh, okay.
areas too.
Okay,
And that's where she was kind of at. She's like, how many years is this gonna be? Say we plant something.
yeah.
And all of a sudden it fills in evenly. But yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, let's just do consistent. She already has it around all the existing patios already, so we just stay with the same look.
And quick question, are you guys recommending we approve it with that front, how they push the fence back and that front landscape change? Yeah, right there.
So staff's concern, or staff is fine with the proposed black aluminum fencing as shown in what's currently in front of the bar right now. It's where it goes along the north property line and then wraps around the east,
But
where it's green in this photo.
my question is that planting in front, are you guys good with that? Like if they did like a tall grass or something, so that kind of gives some privacy?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay, yeah. So the intent is to get privacy with a natural landscape. Is that what you're after? Yeah, okay. This is a great idea.
I mean, one thing, obviously my opinion is 1 of 5, but I'm good continuing the wrought iron fence across and then doing some sort of the tall grass landscape in front to add your privacy, because that also does tend to stay standing in the colder months a bit more. And then are we talking canopies colors today as well? Recommending those colors, or is that later?
You can provide input on that.
Okay.
I think at this point, the design review board is approving the overall structures themselves and
Yeah.
locations. And if you'd
Yeah.
like to provide feedback on color, but
Yeah, I would just ask for like a neutral tan. I think there was like that Carla sand or something would be good. Nothing too bright. That's, because I don't think it wouldn't go with the rest of the building, in my opinion. Yeah,
Otherwise, that graphite gray.
Yeah, the
is
graphite
very
gray is
similar
good.
to the color of the building. currently.
yeah. Graphite gray or that medium sand color, just because it would add some contrast, but not be like neon.
Yeah,
Look like
the
a
reds and the
playground.
green get a little loud.
Yes, yeah, those are good for playgrounds.
Very much so.
Is there any concern at all on AstroTurf? Because it's on a hill, even though it's graded flat there, but because it's on a slope, do we have any concern on the drainage with AstroTurf there versus regular grass or?
So part of the project had, as you saw, kind of the retaining blocks that were going around is leveling out a lot of that. So it's really, there's just enough to really kind of drain on into the gravel bed and below it.
Okay.
And it'll help do more of that percolation and kind of do the natural stormwater. So really what we're looking at doing is trying to keep as much on the site and let it percolate through and not really kind of add any more to that. And being kind of where it is, already having some of the growth concerns of what was going on with the ivy, same idea, like don't want like a patchy backyard look and then trying to maintain that as well. So really kind of using that turf to keep a good even.
And it's probably a bit more durable being a bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, let's drain through way back.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Do we want to go back to the staff recommendation slide?
Yeah.
Does anybody else have questions? Pretty good.
I guess, oh, sorry, I do have a question. Are we, with this recommendation that we would be making today, are we preventing the opportunity for them to plant natural something to grow on that fence? I don't want to do that, I guess is my point.
You don't want to prevent it.
I don't want to prevent them from being able to have a natural landscape. I'm a natural scientist. I'm all about having natural landscaping to support a natural
Yeah.
look. So if there's a better option, that would be great. But if it's not ivy,
Yeah.
okay, just,
Well, I think what we were saying is maybe not putting anything on the fences, but allowing them that, that natural scape right in front of
In
the
the
fence,
front.
on the
Okay.
street side.
okay.
But I mean, I don't think we have to say no to the ivy for now, but maybe just get it built and see how it go, come back at another time?
I think the larger staff concern is that this fence, if the greenery isn't in there, will look like a chain link fence,
Yes.
Yeah,
which I think might bring down the value and character of the village.
okay.
So I would provide more emphasis on the quality and type of fence.
Yeah,
And then if they want to explore maybe like potted plants or something like that, that might soften up the look
Yeah.
of the outdoor seating area, rather than go that route,
yeah,
would be my recommendation.
I think continuing what they have already, just around
The wrought
the
iron.
edges there makes the most sense to me as far as just continuous look and feel. You don't have to worry about the plastic parts of the greenery falling out or, getting discolored on one versus the other, some of those pieces.
Yeah.
Now you've got the chain link to look at.
yep. Okay, so let's break this up into pieces, I guess. Okay, so just looking at the fence, do we have a motion to approve continuation of the wrought iron fence that's currently in place?
Yes, a motion to approve the current wrought iron fence that's continuing in place. I make that motion. Okay.
And we have a second. So, Matt, we want to take a vote on that?
So Martin,
Yes.
Rashid,
Yes.
Tibbet,
Yes.
Tilka,
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Okay. And then are we good to approve that front landscape, or that's not on this proposal, so we wait on that?
So the front landscape is part of this submittal.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
So with that included. And then I guess we're just giving a recommendation on color of shade.
Sure. So you can make a motion
Okay.
for sunshade color if you
Yeah.
prefer.
Um,
Applicant, are you okay?
Did
Does
you have
the
one in
property
mind?
owner
Yeah.
have a preference for color or?
okay.
Okay.
Do we like the Carlu sand or the graphite gray? Or are there any other colors on there that staff or team would like to?
I think the navy would also be neutral if they wanted to go with that.
You could keep it broad and say a neutral tone
Okay,
and then allow them the flexibility to choose
okay. I'm good with
more of a
that.
neutral color.
Refine the range.
Yes, okay. So is there a motion to keep the shade covers a neutral color?
Motion to keep the shade covers neutral.
Is there a second?
Second?
We can take a vote.
Okay. Anderson,
Yes.
Tilka,
Yes.
Tibbet,
Yes.
Rashid,
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Was that everything?
So then I would make a motion to approve the project as presented with, we'll call those two conditions. Condition that the fence be wrought iron and then the condition that the shade be a neutral tone.
Okay, I'm gonna repeat what he just said. Make a motion to approve staff recommendations as is with the addition of continuing the wrought iron and picking a neutral shade for those, for the covers. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second? I guess I did the motion to approve.
Yeah, you did.
didn't I?
That was
Yeah.
perfect.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Sorry, one sec.
I'm not usually the one who does this.
Okay.
Great.
I'm usually the one who makes the
Who
motion.
makes the motion? Yeah.
Rashid,
Yes.
Tibbet,
Yes.
Tilka,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
and Martin.
Yes.
Okay. I think we're all set for you guys. Have a wonderful holiday. Next, any general discussion items?
Nothing from staff at this time.
Okay. Any public comment? No, okay. No public. All right, make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor? Say aye. Yes. All right, and next meeting is December 18th, 2023. It's coming quick.
Okay.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
All right, cool, thank you.
Appreciate it.